We talk a lot about SHTF scenarios and the need to stack gold and silver accordingly, but sometimes that gets taken a little too far, and I've heard about enough of it. Let's get into some real talk. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. This is a really quick, impromptu, rare Saturday night video that I wanted to launch because I've got something on my mind and I wanted to talk about it. No charts, no coins, no slideshow, just real talk. Now, this video might piss some people off, and that's okay. It's just my opinion, and that's the beauty of YouTube. We're all allowed to have one, more or less. Be sure to hear me out. Let me know what you think in the comments. This is the kind of video where I'd love to hear some different points of view and feedback, especially if I'm way off base. Alright, we watch a bunch of videos here on YouTube, and we've all seen how stacking can help in an SHTF scenario. And I also think we realize that in a true SHTF situation, precious metals probably won't help us all that much in the beginning or even through the duration of one. People are going to be clinging to vital supplies and using those same vital supplies for bartering if it ever comes down to it. Now, one of the top prepping websites lists the following items as crucial to making it through an SHTF event, and they are ammo, food, water, toilet paper, toiletries, salt, water filters, antibiotics, and a bunch of other stuff. But you know what wasn't on that list? Precious metals. And let's face reality, that bunch of 90% silver that we're stashing away has a ton of value, right? I mean, it could be the ultimate fractional silver for bartering. But does it really have value when 90+% of the population has absolutely no clue that there's silver in those coins? I mean, we know. You know we know, but what good is it if no one else but us knows? And what about all those nice silver eagles and fancy bars?
Impossible to see. The future is.
Now, I'm a firm believer in precious metals being worthy of stacking with regard to SHTF. But I'm also of the opinion that precious metals will attain their highest usefulness well after the fact and not during. I mean, for all we know, precious metals could prevail and return to their intended form of being real currency after an SHTF. Look, I get it. The economy sucks. We're dealing with inflation, the highest inflation in decades. The dollar seems destined to sink at some point. Just like every other fiat currency in the history of mankind. What makes the dollar any different? And to make matters worse, the digital dollar is a looming threat that could change the game beyond what any of us could ever imagine. But does that guarantee Armageddon? Not necessarily. At some point, yeah, I do believe the dollar will crash, but trying to determine when that might happen is a pretty tough task. I mean, it could happen in our lifetimes or our kids' lifetimes.
We now go to Peter Griffin for You Know What Really Grinds My Gears.
Thanks, Tom. You know what really grinds my gears?
So what's really grinding my gears tonight? Well, I'll tell you. I had an email conversation with someone a few days ago, and he had seen my 10-ounce silver bar video, and he basically told me that it was risky to promote large bars. He gave me the tired old, you can't eat silver, and no one's going to take your gold and silver and trade for supplies, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Same old. He also wondered how responsible it was to continuously buy precious metals when we should be preparing with more important supplies. It makes you wonder why the hell he was even watching a video solely based on stacking silver bars, but hey, to each their own, right? Now, I'll tell you how I responded. First off, I told him that most of us stacking metals are also stacking, you guessed it, supplies to be prepared for whatever the next few years might bring. And I'm one of those who are doing just that. Ammo, food, water, medical supplies, the whole deal. I think I'm just sick of people assuming that stackers are blindly stacking metals without regard to a potential crisis in the future. I'm stacking and prepping. But my stack is primarily a savings account to kind of supplement my retirement when the time comes. And here's a newsflash for you. I'd say the majority of stackers, most of you included out there watching this now, are pretty well read and versed in all things SHTF and more. You're aware that you can't eat silver. You know how to prepare for an SHTF situation, and we're doing just that. Most of us without regard to our stack at all. I don't need anyone telling me I can't eat silver. No kidding. And don't assume that we don't have a clue on how to prepare for the worst. Most of us do. Now, we see a lot of fear-mongering channels here on YouTube about SHTF days ahead. Yes, you should be concerned about our future, and yes, you should prepare as such, as I know the majority of you are doing. But you also can't stack based on fear and what you're hearing on the internet, because stacking out of fear can drive a person to make poor decisions when it comes to finances. Now, prepare? Absolutely. Better to be ready than not, right? But my point is, you can do both in a way that benefits you no matter what happens down the road. You just have to do it responsibly. Now, here's my outlook, and it's based on my situation. Yours might differ. I'm not basing my stacking on a negative future or fear of what's to come, even though I'm well aware of the possibility and I'm prepared as such. I'd rather base my stacking for a potentially better future, to secure my savings against a weak fiat currency, and to help me enjoy my damn retirement at some point. Or pass it on to my kids, whatever happens. Now, worst case scenario, I'll use my precious metals if we end up going all Venezuela up in here. But my point is this. I'm prepared for both scenarios. I'm not going to have to eat my silver, so to speak. And I'm doing it within my means. You can't stack based on just fear. Be aware of that fear and prepare accordingly, but stack like you have a positive future as well. Again, my stack is a savings account, and my goal at some point is to turn my entire precious metals portfolio into a log cabin and some land up in the mountains of North Carolina when the time comes. You got to have a dream. You got to have perspective. And you can never lose sight of either one. And that is going to wrap it up for this episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. And if you made it this far, well, kudos to you. I will definitely catch up with you in the next episode. But in the meantime,
What do you want to do with your life?
damn right, get stacked. Stay safe and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Be well, everyone. I am out of here. Peace, folks.
Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes.